Hey amigos, espero que les vaya de lujo, pasen, acomódense y vamos a disfrutar del show. Hoy reaccionaremos al tráiler de Prince of Persia de Last Crown Accessibility Deep Dive. Vamos a ver qué es lo que han añadido, vamos a ver qué es...
Our approach was to
Vale.
be accessible by design. We have no QuickTime event, we have no color-based feedback,
Vale, no.
we have big text by default. I think that accessible design is good design.
En los trailers se veía bien, pero lo que hemos visto ahí ya solo...
can be quite hard, and this one can be quite hard too. We really want the player to keep involved and keep playing the game.
How to make Metroidvania open to everyone? Because of that question, accessibility became a main topic, and we decided to prioritize it early.
We did a lot of playtests of the early builds of the games. We found out that wall jump can be difficult for people that aren't used to platforming games. So we did very small assists that are invisible, but if they aren't there, it will not feel the same way.
Sometimes a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work, and we need to provide options like eye contrast for players with low vision or atomic difficulty parameters, because the challenge is relative to everyone. We want to provide a challenging game, but we really want to be sure that everyone can tweak the experience to their fitting.
We designed the game to be challenging but fair. We provided the players with more option to tweak some part of the difficulty.
Dificultad de party, de grupo.
Have easier fights or easier
Sí, se
platforming.
puede jugar en
So
grupo.
we
Es
need
interesante.
small options to make sure every player can enjoy
Ese es de nuestra escuela.
even more challenging game.
Salta y se come los pinchos.
High contrast mode, it was the first for Ubisoft game. We had a lot of data to tag, enemies, allies, the player, all the rewards, traps. So it was a lot of data to process to be sure that people with low vision can play and understand what is happening on the screen.
Well, I've been involved in two different things. First one is the guided mode. The idea is that the players can get lost in the game, can forget what they have to do. So they can activate this mode. It can be temporary, it can be permanent. And they can get some hints, some help, some point of interest that appear on the map and can help them to remember exactly what is the next thing to do, the next quest, the next things.
I think the guided mode is a really nice feature for the player because it really helps players that can be intimidated by the exploration and the Metroidvania genre to enjoy their journey along our game.
Second way is for the memory shards. The idea is that, as you know, Metroidvania games always have a minimap, and the render is always quite basic because you have to understand the whole world very easily. But sometimes you forget that this particular place in the world looks like this.
One of the defining aspects of the Metroidvania genre is the principle of taking mental notes. There is a blocked path and you need to acquire a new power or have a new tool and come back later. Historically, you had to memorize that path. It can be a cognitive load. It can be difficult to remember what you tried to achieve.
So the player can place a memory shard to remember that this particular place looks like this. So just place the cursor on the point of interest and you can see a full screenshot.
O sea, podemos poner como marcas para recordar dónde había cosas importantes.
So we had to be sure that the screenshot you take on the platform works on another. So it was quite a technical challenge too.
Actually, it's a new feature for this kind of games. We've made a lot of tests because we didn't know if the player would use it. And once they get it, they love it. They place them everywhere in the game, they really use it very much.
A lot of players
No, la verdad es que el juego pinta muy bien.
Natural. I think it really pushed the boundaries from the genre, and I hope to see this feature.
¿Te gusta el género Metroidvania,
The central Ubisoft
El juego
Accessibility really
pinta
helped us
muy bien.
along our journey, providing us feedback and knowledge on accessibility. But it was really the team that had the ownership of the accessibility features. The fact that we were a small team by Ubisoft standard, but with big ambition, was not an obstacle for accessibility because every programmers, every designer were owner of their feature and responsible to make them accessible. For example, the programmer who did the fight added an option to automatically turn to the nearest enemies. We gathered learnings from disabled people in regular playtest. We did some playtest with partners like Cap Games, and we also had some feedbacks at Ubisoft Forward or during our close previews. It helped us to iterate and to improve our accessibility settings like the eye contrast, the text size, the difficulty parameters. Most of the accessibility settings will be available in the demo that will be released on January 11th.
Muchas de las opciones estarán ya en la propia demo para que las podemos
accessibility
probar.
settings.
Bastante bien, bien. La verdad es que, o sea, el vídeo nos ha explicado un poco cómo han ido haciendo, cómo han ido poniendo las características para que si a lo mejor hay algún sitio donde en concreto no puedes ir porque está bloqueado, que por lo menos puedas guardarlo o como un recordatorio para decir, vale, aquí hay algo importante, no he podido ir antes, pero el recordatorio lo tengo y me hace como, me deja ver como una pequeña imagen de cómo estaba el sitio para yo hacerme una idea de decir, vale, no he podido ir, pero más adelante a lo mejor sí. Y las diferentes características que podemos poner, que no podemos poner, que podemos... La verdad es que el juego, ya digo, pinta bastante bien. No es que yo los Metroidvania me gustan mucho, pero de vez en cuando, ya digo, algún juego diferente pues siempre traemos, porque no siempre vamos a estar jugando juegos de rol. La verdad es que me gusta jugar a todo tipo de juegos, no le digo que no a ningún juego, pero si veo que, como he dicho con el vídeo anterior, el vídeo que hemos hecho de Prince of Persia del mundo, si veo mucho apoyo, si veo que en la demo hay mucho apoyo y veo que os gusta mucho, pues a lo mejor me plantearía, según qué juegos, no solo en este, en según qué juegos, pues traerlo de día cero, ya sea este, sea otro, sea cual sea. Estamos abiertos a probar muchos tipos de juegos, que es para lo que estamos aquí, para divertirnos, para pasar un buen rato, para ver diferentes juegos, no solo para jugar a los típicos juegos de siempre, a los juegos de lucha, a los juegos de rol, lo que sea. Estamos aquí para pasar un buen rato, para jugar cada vez a más cosas, para llegar cada vez más lejos, para aprender, para pasar un buen rato entre todos. Y también sabéis que cualquier opinión, comentario, lo que sea que os ocurra, en la caja de comentarios sois todos bienvenidos siempre y cuando sea con respeto y educación. Estamos aquí para pasar un buen rato, al menos intentarlo. Si os gusta el contenido del canal y queréis apoyarlo, ya sabéis que podéis suscribiros, que es completamente gratuito, y ayudáis al canal a que queréis que podamos llegar cada vez más lejos. Os agradezco un montón todo el apoyo, todos los comentarios y todo lo que aportáis al canal, que la verdad es que sin vosotros esto no podría seguir ni adelante ni podría existir. Y sin más me despido, gracias por su paciencia, gracias por su apoyo, nos vemos en otro vídeo, hasta otra, chao chao.